It's time for some preventive maintenance. So today, let's change the timing belt on this 2008 Outback. This isn't stock for 2008. I believe somebody added this from an older model because they didn't like the stretch to fit belts. I don't blame them. I don't like the stretch to fit belts either. That's just a hole. It's not threaded? What? Well, oh, good. Oh wow, look at that. It actually has a little bit of play. This will work. Let's see if this is gonna come off or break the cover, because if you've ever done these on Subarus, you know what I'm talking about. Missed one? Yeah, they missed one.
I don't want to help you too.
Just lining up the timing marks right now before I take the belt off. Alright, we have an interesting coincidence here. This is a little dimple in the crankshaft timing sprocket, and the dimple happens to actually line up with this timing mark on the timing belt. That's a coincidence. Don't get thrown off by that. The real timing mark is right here, which lines up with this timing mark right here. And when that is lined up, there we go, and we'll see that the cam timing mark right here, this little groove, not the paint, not that paint, this groove lines up with that groove right there. And the other camshaft, the groove right here, lines up with this mark right here. And the cam marks are on the tops, and then the crank mark is at the top. Everything's at the top right now. You don't have to do this, but this is just something I did to make it a little easier on myself. I used a pry bar with constant pressure, not a lot of pressure, but it moves really slowly, so just constant pressure. And I reinstalled the pin for the tensioner pulley. And that way, when I pull it out, I don't have to worry about damaging the threads right when it gets to the end of pulling the bolt out. Now the belt is loose. I can pull the tensioner out without worrying about damaging the threads. Let me remove this one. And the washer fell down. Let's just pull the timing belt out. Let's pull out this idler. Next, let's remove these two idlers. Yeah, this bearing was on its way out. Oh, this one was even worse. Now while you're in here, you don't have to, but I'm going to change out the cam and the crank seals. But if you wanted to replace the crank seal, it's not too hard because you're already in here. And if you wanted to just wait until it failed, because it could fail by the time you get to the next timing belt service interval, if you do wait for that, you'll have to risk damage to the timing belt failure, and possibly having to do your timing belt service much earlier than anticipated. There's a reason I don't like this seal puller. As soon as this lets go, my knuckles might hit the engine, so. Alright, that's strike 2 on that puller. So I'll go the effective way I know how to get these. I hope you saw that. Time to clean it up. Alright, time to grease the seal. Well, a 34mm would be perfect if I had one, but this 32 should do. Well, looks like that's in there good enough. Alright, time to remove the camshaft sprocket. Should we try my old seal remover? Nah. Yeah, I pulled out again. I don't know, I'll give this a shot. I do not like this tool right here. It's just like not a good application for it. Although it is working. Clean this up some. Grease the seal. .32mm socket fits pretty well for this one. There it is, installed. Let's reinstall the cam sprocket. Get some blue stuff on the threads here. Don't you love homemade tools? Homegrown tools, homegrown tools. Alright, something like that. well, that'll hold for now. Psh, famous last words. Let's try this again. Come on, man. See if maybe it'll pop out. It's kind of coming. Screw that. These seals are so narrow, it's hard to put a good hole at the right spot in them. Let me get my other seal puller, or seal wanna puller, seal knuckle banger. Yeah, this is my seal knuckle banger. Oh, come on. It might come out. Yes. Okay. Yeah, that seal's done. Clean up, everybody do your share. So even though I ran the paper towel through and cleaned it up, I didn't see until when I used the inspection mirror, then I saw these little pieces of seal. I'll just pull them out for you and show you. Yeah, those pieces. Let's install this seal. Sorry guys. I gave the camera a nice big hug for you. Blue stuff. Alright, let's pull out this water pump. Well, this thermostat housing is a little dirty. I'm going to see if I can clean this up with some 600 grit and some spray oil. Should be good enough. Let's put the new thermostat gasket on the thermostat. The gasket is slightly larger than the thermostat. Let's put the thermostat housing on. Let's install this little gasket thing on the bottom of the water pump. There's a couple of these bolts to hold the gasket in place. Let's go install this thing. Maybe this will work. Back is 89 to 124 inch-pounds. Pretty wide range, so I'll target 100 inch-pounds, I think. Let's install this idler pulley. Put some blue stuff on the threads. Tighten this down to 348 inch-pounds. Or 29 foot-pounds, whatever your system of measurements is. Got blue stuff on the threads. Got some blue stuff on the threads here. Let's install this belt. Wait a minute. That mark doesn't, the timing mark is in between the teeth, not on the teeth. Well, let's just go with it then. Okay, real slowly compress the pin. Okay, once the pin's out, release the pressure. And then slowly compress the piston back in 3 times. Have to take at least a minute to compress it. So I'm going to go down to contact here. It might take significantly longer than a minute since I'm just trying to go real slow. Okay, that's the last of the 3 sets of compressions. Kind of like an exercise, I guess. Start letting it up a little bit. There we go. We'll put the pin in. Loosen this. Okay, this is the crankshaft pulley. I have the timing mark on the belt lined up with the sprocket right there. Lined up with the timing mark, lined up on the sprocket, and then up here is the timing mark on the engine. Okay, over here we have the passenger side sprocket right here. And there's the timing mark on the sprocket, which lines up with the mark on the head. And the painted mark on the belt is a half a tooth off. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it from here? There we go. There, now you can see it's a half a tooth off. So what I did was I got this lined up and turned it by hand so it's tight right there. At that tooth, the marks line up. So that's the half a tooth off where the mark goes on this belt. Thanks, Gates. Okay, now the tricky part is lining up the marks on this one. So I turned the cam sprocket, lined up the belt, and I'm trying to hold the crankshaft pulley at the same time. And we'll line up the, oh boy. There we go. And we've got our tensioner here with the blue stuff on the threads. And it goes right in here. Okay. There we go. Now that's starting. And before we release tension, we need to double check the timing marks. This cam sprocket is lined up. Crankshaft is lined up. The camshaft, that side is lined up. Let's torque this tensioner pulley to 29 foot-pounds. 350. Pulled the pin. Next thing I want to do is rotate the crankshaft 2 full turns to make sure everything is okay and that the timing marks still line up. Okay, we got the camshaft timing mark right here lined up. We got the crankshaft timing mark right here lined up. Over here we have the other camshaft timing mark lined up. Let's clean up this timing cover. Let's hook up this water pump hose. There we go. So this rubber gasket expanded because of the power steering leak. Oil just made it expand, so I'll see if I can get this to fit it back in there. Let's see if that'll... This one goes here. I'm going to put a little bit of engine oil on this bolt right here. Alright, I got my screwdriver in here holding flywheel and my torque wrench set to 133 foot-pounds. Let's see if this works. Woohoo! Alright, let's reinstall this AC belt pulley. Should do. Okay. And we got it. Before we put the radiator in, let's clean this up a little bit. wasn't quite centered, and I got the peg instead of in the center off to the edge right here on both sides, so I gotta fix those grommets. Grommets re-centered. Time to put the radiator back in.